Mary and Elisa had been best friends since childhood. They had just joined university and were assigned rooms in the hostel. The building was old, almost ancient, but one particular block, hostel number 13, was permanently locked. No one spoke about it. No one dared to go near it. But there were whispers. Whispers of screams at midnight, shadows moving behind locked windows, and students who entered, but never returned. One rainy night, curiosity got the better of Mary and Elisa. They had to know the truth. Entering the cursed hostel. At exactly 3 a.m., they snuck to the entrance of hostel number 13. The gate was covered in rust, and a massive lock dangled from its chains. But the moment Mary touched it, the lock snapped open on its own. The heavy door creaked as they stepped inside. The air was damp and stench of rotting flesh filled their lungs. The corridor stretched into darkness. The walls were covered in faded handprints, some smeared in something that looked like dried blood. Then they heard it, a faint, wet dripping sound. Drip, drip, drip. Looking up, their blood froze. Something was hanging from the ceiling. A human corpse, skinned and missing its eyes, swayed gently. Its mouth was stretched into an unnatural, bloody grin. Then it moved. The first warning. The thing twitched, its head snapping toward them with a sickening crack. Its hollow eye sockets were locked onto them. Elisa let out a choked scream, but Mary grabbed her hand and ran. As they stumbled through the hallway, a door ahead slammed shut, and the whispers began. "Don't run. Stay with us." A hand, cold and slimy, brushed against Elisa's neck. She spun around, but no one was there. Mary yanked her forward. "Move! Move!" The red room. They crashed into an open room at the end of the hall and slammed the door behind them. It was a mistake. The room was covered in red, not paint, blood. The walls were scratched with names, hundreds of names, and below them, one phrase repeated over and over. "No one leaves." Elisa turned to Mary, her breath ragged. "We have to get out. Her voice cut off. Mary's face went pale as she saw the thing standing behind Elisa. A girl in a white dress, her head twisted completely backward, her mouth unhinged, stretched into an impossible smile. And then she screamed, a sound so inhuman, so deafening it made their ears bleed. The dead truth. Elisa and Mary bolted out of the room, blindly running through the endless corridors. Then Mary tripped. As Elisa bent down to help, her eyes widened in horror. Mary's ankle was in a skeletal hand, reaching from beneath the floorboards. Suddenly, the entire floor cracked open, revealing an ocean of bodies, their eyes wide with eternal terror. Then Elisa saw it, the diary, half buried in the corpses. It belonged to Sophie. With shaking hands, she flipped to the last page. If you're reading this, it's too late. You are now part of hostel number 13 inches. Then something whispered right into her ear. Look behind you. The endless nightmare. Elisa turned around slowly. Mary was standing still, her face frozen in horror. Behind her, the thing had grown taller, its limbs elongated, its mouth now stretching down to its chest. It placed one rotting, bony finger on its lips. Shh. And then, the lights went out. The next morning, the warden checked the hostel's CCTV footage. It showed Mary and Elisa entering hostel number 13, but they never came out. Even worse, hostel number 13 had been abandoned for 30 years. Their names were now scratched onto the red walls. And if you listen closely at 3 a.m., you can still hear their screams.